Okay, let's listen up a minute. You will see numbers on your desk. The numbers on your desk are your calculator numbers. And the reason why they're your calculator numbers is, one, everybody was forgetting the number I gave them. And two, whenever I was absent on Friday, whenever I came in the door today, I saw one of my precious brand new calculators, not in its cradle, but sitting out for anybody and their brother to steal and take home with them. It is your responsibility to make sure that your calculator that you're seated at is your calculator that you are to use, and that at the end of the period you are putting it back. Before you leave the classroom, you need to look around the classroom and make sure that all of the calculators are put away. That is every period. You don't get to just get up and leave. Do we all understand that? Okay? So your calculator is your seat number. Do we all understand that? So no one should say, I forget my number anymore, right? We all know our seat number. Yes? No, you stay right where you're at, you forget the old number I gave you, and you only take the calculator where the seat is that you're seated at. For today, go ahead and use the one that you have. Okay? But starting tomorrow, you grab the calculator number that you're seated at, not any other calculator. Yes? Okay, second order of business. Pink retests. Put them in the bin now. Okay, pass them to the end of the rows, and I will collect them and put them in the bin. Do we have them out? Do we have them done? Did we do that already? Okay. Everything away. We are going to start a new section today. This new section is regarding slope. It is not a difficult section. Okay, your goal today is to find the equation, find the equation line, give it a point and a slope, or 2 points. Also, to interpret the slope. Okay, we're going to talk about that in here shortly. So, the first thing I'm going to say is, if I were to give you the word slope, and if you are in Webster's dictionary, you would say it's the steepness of a line. Would you agree? So, the definition in Webster's dictionary is the steepness of a line. If you're going up a hill, that is your slope. It's the grade of the hill. Do we all understand that? Going downhill, going uphill, if it's flat, level, if it's a cliff, those are all definitions of slope. Okay? Secondly is the graphical definition, which is going to be the rise over the run. Now, if I say please rise for the singing of the national anthem, what is everybody going to do? Stand up. What does bread do in the oven? Rise. What direction is rise? When I say to rise, we are going up. If I say to everybody run, what direction can you run? Left and right. Do we understand that? You can't run up, you can't run down. You're running a direction of either left or right. What does that mean whenever we're talking about it graphically? We're talking about slope being positive if you're running to the right and negative if you're running to the left. Do we all understand that? You will never, ever, ever hear me do down for your slope if it's negative. I will go up and to the left, up and to the left, up and to the right if it's positive, up and to the right if it's positive. Do we all understand that? Okay? So I take this definition of rise very literally. Okay? The change in y over the change in x, you should have seen this definition right here in geometry. How many of you remember seeing that nice little delta y over delta x? That is the change in your y value over the change in your x value. Any questions over that? Okay, the next one that we're going to talk about is the algebraic definition. And this is x1, y1, x2, y2. You know what that means? 0.1 and 0.2. If I had x sub 10, y sub 10, that would be 0.10. Do we all understand that? Okay, so if I find my slope by taking y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, it's always the second order pair minus the first order pair, sorry. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Doesn't matter which point you label as which point, as long as you plug them in appropriately. You with me? Okay, this picture is so important. This is the slope picture, okay? Now, you are going to read this thing from left to right. So if I put myself at the bottom of this mountain, what am I doing? Am I going up, down? What am I doing on the mountain? I'm going to go up the mountain. So a line that looks like this has a positive slope. So this is a positive slope line. Do we all understand that? Yes? Going down the mountain is going to have a negative slope. Yes? Do we all understand that? When we get to the bottom of the mountain, it's level, and you build a house on level ground, and that has a slope of 0. There's 0, not no slope. Do not write no slope. 0 is a physical number, so write 0. Do we all understand that? Okay, so this slope is going to be different. And then we have our last slope, which is going to be this right here. And whenever you get to the edge of a cliff, what do you instinctively want to do? You grab hold of the railing and you automatically look over it to see what's there. You want to see what's down there, right? So we are looking to see what is undetermined or undefined down there. Okay? You can't see that very well. Now, do we all understand that, yes or no? Okay? So we have positive, negative, 0, and undefined. When you are on the mountain, you have the equation y equals mx plus b. When you are on the mountain, y equals mx plus b. When you are level, that's where your house is at. This is where home's at. Boom, 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 boom. And that is y equals a number. Okay? And when you're looking over the cliff, that's going to be x equals a number. Okay? This right here is so important. I don't get to explain a lot of this today, but I want you to be introduced to it today so that you've seen it once. So whenever I start to talk about it again later this week, you'll be like, oh, that's what that was. Okay? So here we go. How do I calculate slope using the algebraic definition? Step 1, label the points. Step 2, write the formula. Step 3, plug and chug. And step 4, reduce all fractions. So here we go. Find the slope of the points. -2, 4, 1, -6. So what do I do first? Label your points. Please do that. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So now I'm going to write my formula. Slope is equal to Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. What is Y2? -6 minus a 4, which is Y1. What's X2? And X1? Minus a -2. So, simplify. Do that now. -6 minus 4 is? Minus a negative is a positive. 1 plus 2 is 3. So tell me, is this going up the mountain, down the mountain? Where your house is at or on the cliff? Where is this? It's going down the mountain. Do we all understand that? It's going down the mountain. Do we see it? Okay. Next, same exact concept. I give you 2 points. Find the level little slope. So what do I do first? Label them. So here's X1, Y1, X2, Y2. And write your slope. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So that's 4 minus 4 over 6 minus -2. What is 4 minus 4? 0. Minus a negative is a? I have 0 pizzas. I'm dividing among 8 friends. How many pizzas does everybody get? 0. Please remember this. Are you ready? 0 over 0. 0 in the numerator is happy. 0 in the denominator is sad. Good versus evil, whatever you want to say. But if 0 is up top, we're okay to say 0. Can anybody tell me where this is at on our nice little slope pick? It is, no. It's where your house is. It's a horizontal line. You build your house on level ground. Level ground means 0. Do we all understand that? Level ground means 0. Next. Step 1. Label x1, y1, x2, y2. Step 2. Formula m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Step 3. 6 minus 3 over negative 7 minus negative 7. What is 6 take away 3? A double negative is a positive. What's negative 7 plus 7? I have 3 pizzas divided among 0 friends. Is that possible? It's not possible, right? So this is 0 in the denominator is sad. So this is undefined. Can you tell me where this is at in our slope pick? It's the cliff. It's the vertical line. Do we all understand that? Yes? Okay, do you see this picture right here? Do you know what I did? I slapped them all together to make one little image for you. Boom, 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 boom. Do you see that? You already know this. Positive slope, negative slope, 0 slope, undefined slope. We already talked about that, did we not? Did we get that? Okay, now let's talk about the graphical definition. What I'm giving you are 2 points on this line. Here's the first point down here, and here's the second point right there. Okay, do we see them? Our graphical definition is rise over run. When you rise, you are always starting from the bottom point. Yes? So from the bottom point, how many units am I rising up to be level with the point over here? 1, 2, 3 points. I took 3 steps to get level with the next point, correct? Now, how many steps am I taking to the right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since I'm going to the right, is my slope positive or is my slope negative? It's positive. We can also tell it's going uphill, so my slope in this case is 3/5. Do we understand that, yes or no? Next, same exact concept. I'm trying to find the slope. Here's a point down there, and here's a point up here. What do you notice about this line? Why is it negative? This is going downhill, right? Do we see that? It's going downhill. So my rise over my run, I know the outcome is going to be negative, which means I'm going to be going to the left. But for my bottom point, I'm rising up 1, 2, 3 units. And then I'm running to the left 1 unit. So that's what makes it become negative. What number? -3 is my slope. Do we understand that, yes or no? Are we good? Okay, so what I've done, this is just like problems 9 through 14 on homework. These problems up there are like 1 through 8. Okay? The front page of your notes is like problems 1 through 8. The second graphs are going to be like 9 through 14. Now let's skip down to the back side. This is probably where things started to fall apart for you in geometry. And that was finding the equation of the line. Okay? Finding the equation of the line is y equals mx plus b. This is what we call slope intercept. I do not like purple on that. Slope intercept, where m is the slope and 0b is the y-intercept. What do we know the y-intercept to be? The y-intercept is the point on the graph where it crosses the y-axis. If it's crossing the y-axis, then that means you have not moved left or right at all on the x-axis. That means x is 0, and then you're trying to look at the height or the depth of where it crosses the y-axis. Do we all understand that? Okay? Now, these 2 formulas probably look very familiar to you. its slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. You label your point as xy. Then we have another formula, which is point and slope, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. When you utilize this formula, you are keeping the x and the y and subbing everything else out for numbers. You will label your point x1, y1. You will label your point x1, y1. Now, with that being said, let's actually find some equations of the lines. Are we ready? Okay, find the equation of the line with a slope of 5 and a y-intercept of 0, 3. What does that mean? Okay, but look at what I gave you. I gave you a slope and I gave you 0, 3. Is 0, 3 a special point? What kind of point is that? I'm sorry? No, 0, 3 looks like 0b, doesn't it? Which is your y-intercept. So what does that imply b is? What is my b value? Exactly. So I have my slope and I have my b value. So all I have to do is simply plug it into this formula. Y equals 5x plus 3. Done. Why am I done? Because I gave you the y-intercept, didn't I? Do we get that? Okay, well, what happens if I don't give you a y-intercept? How do I know I did not give you a y-intercept? There's not a 0 in front of the y value there. I gave you the point 2, -5. That is not 0b. Do we all understand that? So I want you to use slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept formula. What is slope-intercept formula again? Y equals mx plus b. When I utilize this formula, what do I label my point as? X and y. So here's my point x, here's my point y. Do we understand that? So I'm going to plug and chug everything I have there. Y is -5, m is -3, x is 2, and b is b. So how do I solve this thing for b? What do I do? -3 times 2 is going to be -6. Now what? How do I solve for b? Add 6 over. And I get 1 is equal to b. So what is my equation? Y equals mx plus b. And I simply plug in what I know. M is -3 and x is 1. Same exact thing, same exact problem. But I'm not using slope-intercept. What am I asking you to utilize this time? Point slope. What is point slope? Y minus y1 times equals m times x minus x1. When I utilize this formula, what do I label my point as? Yep. So here's x1, here's y1. I am going to keep the y and the x in the formula, and everything else turns to numbers. I repeat, I'm going to keep the y and the x that are highlighted, and everything else turns to numbers. So with that being said, y stays, y1 is -5, m is -3, x stays, and x1 is -2 there. Yes? A double negative creates? So I have y plus 5 is equal to, distribute, -3x plus 6. Solve for y. So what should you do? Subtract the 5 over. So if you subtract 5 over, you're going to get y is equal to -3x plus 1. So same exact problem, done two different ways, you get exactly the same answer both times. Do we understand that, yes or no? What generally happens is the second formula is easier. I feel like this is easier because once you plug and chug once, you're done. But this is generally what students prefer because it's familiar to you. Since it's familiar to you, you'd like to utilize it. Okay, let's do it again. How is this problem different than the last one? I gave you 2 points. What makes a line? 2 points make a line, but what else? What do I have to find the equation of the line? What do I have to find the equation of a line? A slope and a point. I don't have a slope right now. What I have are 2 points. Can I find the slope? Absolutely. So all you have to do is the algebraic definition and find the slope. So step 1, how do we do that? x1, y1, x2, y2. So slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 8 minus a negative 2, negative 3 minus a negative 5. A double negative creates a positive. 8 plus 2 is 10. Double negative creates a positive. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2. And what is my slope? So now I have 2 points and a slope. How do I find the equation of the line? 2 points and a slope. How do I find the equation of the line? Pick one of the points. So what point do you want to utilize? My slope is 5, and which point am I going to utilize? Somebody tell me. Negative 5, negative 2, I hear. Does it say which formula I have to utilize? No, so what should I do? What is your favorite? The first one, x plus b. Not surprised. Okay, so that means this is x1, this is y1. So y1 is negative 2, m is 5, and x is negative 5 plus b. So negative 2 is equal to negative 25 plus b. Now what? Add the 25 over. 23 is equal to b. So now what is my equation? Y equals 5x plus 23 is the equation of the line going through those 2 points. Do we understand that, yes or no? We good? Visual or verbal, are we good? Excellent. Okay, how's this problem different? Oh, should we skip it because there's a fraction in it? No. I taught you how to get rid of fractions, did I not? So if I go back to y equals mx plus b, because that's what you all love to use. Here's x and here's y. Y is 5, m is 3 over 4, x is negative 3 plus b. What would you do now? Multiply every single term by 4. So if we do that, you have 20 is equal to 3 times negative 3 plus 4b. What is 3 times negative 3? Yes, it is. Now what? Add the 9. 29 is equal to 4b. Divide by 4. So now what is my equation? Y equals plus 29 over 4. I don't have to put it as a mixed number. Just leave it as an improper fraction. We good? Okay, now what happens whenever I give you pictures? I give you this picture of the slide. And I basically want to know the slope of that slide, don't I? I want the slope, I want the y-intercept, and then I want the equation of the line. Okay, this purple line is what you're looking at, and it's a little bit difficult to see. But if I'm looking for my slope and I'm looking for my b value, what is b understood to be, guys? B is your y-intercept. So I'm looking for the point where it crosses the y-axis. So it crosses the y-axis right here. Can anybody tell me what that y-intercept is? Here's the origin, just so you're aware. There's the origin. Here's the origin right there. That's the origin. Can't really see anything, can you guys? It's not making it much better, honey. Okay, so that's going to be 1, 2. So my ordered pair that I have there is 0, 2. What does that imply B is? 2. B is exactly 2. We understand that. Okay? Now, I need to find the slope. So I have 1 point, so I need to find another point on that line. So another point on that line is going to be right here. To the left 1 unit from the origin. Do you see that? So I want to find my slope. So my rise is going to be, I'm rising up 1, 2 units, and then I'm going to the right 1 unit. So what is my slope going to be? So what does my equation mean that it is now? My equation is y equals mx plus b. So I have my m and I have my b, so what's my equation? Good. That's exactly it. Do you see that? I know, it's hard. I'm sorry. Okay, what about this one? What do I find first? The y-intercept. Well, here's the origin right in the center of the staircase. And then my y-intercept is going to be right there. So how many units is that down? 2. So that's going to be my b value is the point 0, -2, which means b is -2. Do we all agree? So I need to find another point on that. Well, it's directly diagonal from it, so I went up 1 unit. And then I'm going to the right 1 unit to give me, what's 1 divided by 1? So what is my equation? Y equals 1x minus 2, which is the same thing as x minus 2. Do we understand that, yes or no? Okay, tonight's homework is this worksheet. Problems 1 through 9 are like the first 3 examples in tonight's notes. Problems 9 through 14 are just like the second 2 examples on the second page of your notes. Then problems 15 through 20 are like the last page of notes, as well as 21 through 23. Any questions? Okay, I covered every single thing that you would need to know to do this worksheet in your notes today. Come to class tomorrow with this done and we will check your answers. Questions, comments, or concerns? Please listen up about one thing. Major mistakes that my students do for problems 9 through 14. Do not give me 3 divided by 1. What is 3 divided by 1? 3. Do not give me -4 over -6. What is -4 divided by -6? Positive 2/3. Don't give me 10 divided by 0. Give me undefined. And don't give me 0 divided by 6. Give me 0. Any questions over what I just said? All right. What about what? That's fine. -4 over 3 is fine.